In this series of videos, we're going to be working with Adobe Premiere Pro and learning different techniques and how to work in the program at a beginner's level. I'm going to be showing you techniques to create a video like this, but more so how to control different effects and work with the timeline. So these can be just samples that you can learn from or that you can also take in. Let's play the video so you can see what I'm talking about. So with this video, I did several different techniques. First, I used a live video in the back and did summer above by simply doing a couple more layers and working with multiply. Now, this sort of technique really only works if you have black on the top. If you have color and use multiply, you will see the video in the back, but that can also be interesting in itself. But just be aware that this certain technique only works with black. But I'm sure there's other ways you can find out how to do it as well. If we skip forward here a little bit, I'm going to show you how you can work with a Gaussian blur and how there's different other blur types. All these video clips, by the way, came off pexels.com. Here's a transition here, and this is actually simply just working with videos on different layers and opacity levels. Again, opacity levels, 2 different layers. Now this one is a little bit long, but what it shows is the different speed technique. So it starts off as normal, it goes faster, and then it slows down. And then I put it back to a little bit above normal speed for the jellyfish. So if you're interested in any of that. And then this right here, where it goes from there to there, that's a zoom technique. I'll show you how to do that. And then plays through normal. And then this is just a regular tough jump cut, no transition at all. And down here with the type, that is just working with sort of a typewriter-like effect. And something easy that you can do in this program instead of going over to After Effects. And it's just working with timing and placement and points, keyframes. And then right here, again, another sort of quick jump here, rough transition, but it works. And this is just working with putting another box, a layer, and working with an effect, something that you'd see in Photoshop or Illustrator perhaps. And the type and this actually have the same effect, but interestingly enough, they're doing 2 different things. So I'll show you how that works. And it was just a happy accident, in all honesty, but it's an interesting effect nonetheless. Also, I'll show you how to add music and how to have music both loud and soft. So this way, if you want to start off with a more softer sound and then go loud or vice versa, you can certainly do that. And you can add, of course, more than one track. So that is an exported MP4 of my summer fun, or summer dreaming really. And just to show you here, this is what the general layout is. Now if you have worked in After Effects, it has a very similar feel to After Effects layout here, where these are all adjustable and you can move these all around. This is where your media is stored and where you can bring it up. This up here has a lot of different names to it. You can bring up your effect controls, more detailed oriented controls over here. You can also bring up your footage up here and you can rough edit it. Here is definitely always preview. It says program up here, but it is the preview box. This down here will always be your timeline. And over here, this is where you can bring up effects. So right now, I'm in effects and this is coming up, but I can come over here to editing and it might switch it around a little bit. It's going to hide your effects because you might be in heavy editing mode. But all you'd have to do is switch back to editing or auto or anything that you want here. So a lot of different layouts that you can take just by coming up here and working with those. And then so here's what my film looked like. And let's stretch it out a little bit more. So you have audio down here. Let's make it smaller. Audio down here, and then film video up here. So usually you start off with a V1 through V3, but you can always add on more layers, more sets, and so it can go up higher. But here again is my audio down here, and I have different things here. So that is the general layout. So we have effects panel, we have timeline, we have preview, media browser, and I would really just call this more the control center where all the detailed functioning happens. And we'll get into that. So the first things first, again, I had all mine video clips, my footage from pexels.com, which is a great site if you just want some footage to play around with. Now, the biggest thing I'll tell you is to keep everything organized. So I have a folder on my desktop. Be sure to save in 2 places. Desktop is great, but also an external, really a Dropbox, a Google Drive, anything like that is astounding. So remember to always save in 2 places so you, in case anything gets crushed or lost, stolen, you have something somewhere else. So I have everything in here, and this is just what I labeled it for right now. And this is my finished piece. This is my project that I can open. Here's my audio. I got my audio from YouTube. I just looked up free YouTube music and sort of like what type of music I wanted to listen to. And I was able to get that. And then all of these were like pixels with a number behind them. So I went in, and on a Mac, if you don't know how to do this, you just do Command I, it brings up this. That's just sort of an information. And you can come under name and extension here and change that. Obviously don't get rid of the MP4, the .mp4, you want to keep that. But everything else you can change. And the reason why I say this is because when you're working in Premiere, it can get quite small, especially on my 13-inch Mac. It gets sort of complicated to edit. But then also you can make them bigger. Now you might be able to tell the scenes apart, at least for mine, because I try to do something different in each, just to keep myself entertained while making this video. But for a lot of your clips, they might look very similar, and so you might start mixing them up. You might pick the wrong ones, you might delete one that you didn't mean to. So if you just label and be very specific about your labeling, again, mine was a little bit more loose because they were very different in contrast, and I could pick them out easier. But I was making sure I knew exactly what each of them were, because some of the beaches can look similar. So label them properly, how you want to. And then save everything to this folder. All right, so if we were starting off fresh and new, so I'm going to create a new one, Summer 2 Demo. And I'm going to make sure that it's in the folder that I want it to be, which it is. So I'm going to choose that. And everything else should be fine. I'm going to push OK. So I now have a fresh new one. So if I double click here to import media, and you see I'm already on my project, Summer 2 Demo. Here's all my files that I've had. So here's my MP4 of the one I just finished. But here are all my other files, which we're going to take so we can recreate the video that I have. And we're going to import those. So they'll all be over here for you. And what you can do first, if you want to roughly edit something, you double click, or you can click and drag and it can bring you up here. So right now this clip is 21 seconds long, and maybe that's just too long. So I'm going to find a place where I really like it, and I'm going to just cut it from here. And you do that with these tools down here. So this is called Mark In, and this is Mark Out, I and O. And it's just something you can do quick, where I'm going to come here, and this is where I want my video to start. And then I'm going to come, well, we'll say here, and that's where I want my video to end. Now there's two choices here. All of these clips that I have, I believe, are just film. There's no audio to them. So, but usually, especially when you film, you're going to have both of these light up. So this means the video only, and this means the audio only. But you can also bring both of them down as well if you just click and drag. But mostly you'll probably want music to play over, or voiceover or something like that. So for me, I just want my video. So I know this is where I want it to start, this is where I want it to end. So I have about 12 seconds now. And I'm going to bring this, and then I'm going to drag it down on top of my V1. And so if I play it here, that's what it will look like. So it's kind of fun going backwards too. Yeah. And then if I want, I can bring my audio. My audio is quite long, but I can easily shorten that. So this will be the longest by far of all the editing, but easy to do. So a couple things here, much like Timeline or After Effects, Timeline in Photoshop or After Effects, you can come here and this will make, if you drag to the right, it'll make the video short. So we're up to like almost 5 minutes there. You see how short this one is. If you drag it all the way there, it makes it as detailed as possible, so that 12 seconds really seems like a long time. So just keep that in perspective. Make sure that you're paying attention to up here. Like right now we're at 3 seconds. But that's good for viewing. Also, if you come over here and bring these two so they roll together, you'll be able to see your whole thing. So this is the audio. So again, on my screen, that's really hard to see, but if I even it out, and even that's better than what it was. And the same with this. If I come over here, white means it is selected. And if I come here, I can actually see what's being played out. So let's just keep this on mute. And I can make this large as well. Something important with the audio, you might want to have it from the beginning, so maybe there are some great ways to introduce the audio with the clips, or you might want to wait till the end. Either way, what you can do is always mute the audio, which is what I had to do a lot. So this is muting it. If you have several audios, this S means solo track, which means it will only play when you want it to at that time. And this little microphone means voice over record. So that's what those mean, but I like to keep mine on mute for a while, just until I get some editing down. So, but even though the image stops here, it will play all the way through. It's just showing you a clips of what that is. So that is the main understanding of how to fast edit with Mark In, Mark Out, and drag it on in. Again, you can have it really big, or you can have it quite small. So again, if these are the corners, it's going to be the smallest. If they're closer together, it's going to be big. And usually you have between 1 to 4 videos, and you can always add more. Same with audio, you have about 3. All right, and so that is the beginning basics and what we're going to be doing throughout this mini-series.